A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant development for global trade relations, representatives from the European Union and the United States convened in Paris to engage in negotiations aimed at resolving a contentious tariff dispute that has far-reaching implications for both economies. The meeting took place on the sidelines of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, gathering, where EU's chief trade negotiator, Maros Sefcovic, met with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. This meeting comes at a time when the trade relationship between the two economic powerhouses is strained, primarily due to the U.S. trade deficit with the EU, which reached a staggering $161 billion last year. President Donald Trump has been vocal about his dissatisfaction regarding this imbalance, often attributing it to what he perceives as unfair trade practices by the EU, especially highlighting the EU's 10% tax on imported cars compared to America's 2.5%, which was raised to 25% under Trump's administration. Despite the hopeful tone expressed by Sefcovic, who stated they're advancing in the right direction at pace, the likelihood of reaching a substantial trade agreement during this meeting appears slim. The complexities surrounding the issues at hand pose significant challenges that cannot be resolved in a single meeting. Following the Trump administration's unexpected tariffs on steel last week, which sent shockwaves through global markets, the EU has indicated its readiness to implement countermeasures against U.S. products. One of the proposals on the table is a zero-for-zero deal, where both parties would agree to eliminate tariffs on industrial goods, including automobiles. However, this proposal has been met with skepticism, as Trump has previously rejected similar ideas. EU officials maintain that the offer remains available for discussion, emphasizing the potential for increased purchases of U.S. liquefied natural gas and defense items while lowering car duties. Nonetheless, the EU is firm in its stance regarding the value-added tax, which it is unlikely to eliminate, nor will it open its markets to American beef products. French Trade Minister Laurent Saint-Martin, speaking ahead of the OECD meeting, expressed optimism, stating, "We still have a few weeks to have this discussion and negotiation. If the discussion and negotiation do not succeed, Europe is capable of having countermeasures on American products and services as well." This statement underscores the seriousness with which the EU is approaching these negotiations, ready to defend its trade interests if necessary. Greta Peisch, a former general counsel for the U.S. Trade Representative during the Biden administration, reflected on the zero-for-zero proposal, suggesting it could serve as a pathway for progress, especially if the Trump administration is seeking a justification to avoid imposing further tariffs on the EU. However, she raised a critical question about the U.S.'s motivation to reach an agreement, given Trump's long-standing grievances regarding EU trade practices. As these discussions unfold, both sides are acutely aware of the potential consequences of failing to reach an agreement. The ongoing tariff spat could lead to a tit-for-tat escalation that may disrupt not only transatlantic trade but also have ripple effects across the global economy. With the stakes so high, the world will be watching closely to see if the US and EU can navigate their differences and come to a mutually beneficial resolution. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.